Hello everybody, it's Lazel here with another video. Don't worry, because you're probably seeing that I'm gathering resources. We are currently in the Farplane Invasion event and one of the daily quests is to gather resources, and in this event it is definitely worth it to gather resources. But today's video is about a different topic, because today I want to make a step-by-step tutorial how to approach the Lord skill tree. When I do a lot of scouting during Void or in other events, I always see that especially low Lord level castles, and by that most of the time also low castle level castles, still have a Lord skill tree that doesn't really help them with approaching a higher castle level or a higher Lord level as fast as possible, because there are definitely some priorities wrong in my opinion. So I want to start off with saying that my approach of how to set up a Lord skill tree isn't the most fun for the first few months, I'd say, just because of the fact that if I'd start in a new kingdom, I would sit under bubble for a very long time and be just farming, rushing my Lord level, and just be very focused on getting a high stamina recovery to be as efficient as possible, because also monsters below level 25 give you those summon scrolls for abyss monsters, and I have to say that I don't know the rewards for monsters below level 25, but it is still additional rewards that will help you with improving your castle. But with saying that, let's get right into it. When we check out our Lord skills, I have prepared a free page here, and I have a lot of skill points to invest, but I want to go with a step-by-step tutorial for you guys. So I think that especially when you're starting new, that the fast recall skill is something that can always be very helpful, and it is actually very quickly reached. So depending on your frontline focus, I'd say when you're starting, these are the first few skills that I'd invest. These are 16 points that you have to put in, but for the fast recall skill it is very helpful, because for example, you know that you have Elite War, but you are busy in real life. You come online, you see that Elite War is already going on, you have sent all of your troops out to gather somewhere, you have no troops, and then it might happen that you actually join the Elite War with no troops. So the fast recall can help here to just play with all of your troops in Elite War when you're late, or when you're about to bubble trap somebody. There are a lot of different scenarios where the fast recall skill can be very helpful, and I think for 16 points it is a good investment very early on just to have it. So moving on from that, I definitely rush down the development tree to the next resource improvements, and here it really depends on where you're currently at. I think for the start I'd go with the wood production, because when you're still a growing castle and you want to approach castle level 30 as fast as possible to unlock the Azurid mine, you will need a lot of wood, because the castle wall requires a lot of wood, so you're overall spending more wood than food, because you will do the catching up with your barracks just after you have finished that castle level 30. Okay, from here on, the first thing that you're gonna do is immediately go into the side tree here, where you increase your stamina recovery by 40%, your monster attack speed, and you unlock the stamina recovery skill. This definitely holds priority, so this is where you definitely need to go, just to hunt more monsters, to be way more efficient with your time that you are investing into the game. The faster you regenerate stamina, the more efficient you are, because you can hunt more monsters over the day. By that you can get more scrolls to summon abyss monsters, and by that just get more rewards, unlock new Lord levels faster, and that will just make you a way stronger Lord in a way shorter time. Going on from here, it's always a thing between stone and iron production. I think growing castles always tend to need more iron than stone, and still being fair, you really have to check for yourself what you really need. So stone or iron, it's up to everybody themselves. Then we follow up with the load boost skill, and then you finish up with the next stamina recovery skill. So this is like the main priority here. When you've unlocked the second stamina recovery improvement, then you are actually done with the development tree for a very long time. If you are really after getting a very high Lord level very fast, it is always helpful to go for that additional monster attack speed, because you will probably be hunting a lot of monsters in the Blacklands, because only there you can find monsters level 30. So it is very helpful to unlock this skill too, just to be way faster when it comes to hunting monsters which are in Blacklands. But if you're somebody that still goes for monsters level 29, which can also be found outside of the Blacklands, then I think this setup here is already fine. The additional gather speed up boost is a nice thing to have, yes, but we still need to take into consideration that you also want to have a good event performance, and that as fast as possible. So this is the first step, so you can secure to reach higher Lord levels very fast. And then you should work on the war tree, in my opinion, just to improve stats like, for example, the mage attack here on the side if you're maining mages as backline unit, and then just go down the war tree as fast as possible. And here it is, in my opinion, always very simple to approach the next step. What is your front line? Go for that. For example, if infantry would be our front line, we would just go over with the archers defense. And for example, we will be the classic type of player that would play infantry plus mages. Some would say, I should go over the side to unlock the mages defense improvement, but it won't really pay off for you, because you need to get down as fast as possible to unlock the relevant stats. Yes, mage defense might be a nice thing to add, but let's be honest, your backline needs to deal damage and it doesn't need additional health or defense improvements. It ain't a bad thing to have, don't get me wrong on that, but the focus is definitely a different one. From then on, we continue with the wounded capacity from the battle flag, and then we still keep focusing our front line just to get down as fast as possible. Then we unlock the fast expansion skill, a great skill that you should always prioritize around the events that you have for the day. And don't forget that this skill has a runtime of 1 hour and then a 24-hour cooldown starts. I think that is very important depending on the day that you're currently having. Always check back with the events that you will be having the next day, so you can time for yourself, okay, when does it make sense for me to unlock the skill? I can just tell from my personal experience, I wasn't really paying attention and I used it for the third round of Savage Lands on a Wednesday. And the next day when we had Fortress War in the middle of the day, I was like sitting there and not having it ready for Fortress War. And Fortress War is a great event where you should definitely time your buffs around. Then when you have the fast expansion, just keep going downstairs and always focus your units. And at some point you will reach the Battle SOS skill, and this is always a great one because the SOS skill makes it way easier for you to play Void Wars. It also allows you to play Void War alone with way more confidence, in my opinion, because you can go out there, you can test your limits, and if it's really getting heated up during a battle and you're standing there, oh my god, I'm going to have a lot of losses, just press the SOS skill and then you will have learned something about your limits, about being trapped, about which alliance you can attack or not. Or if you're also in a civil war situation, it can always save you when you're out there fighting and attacking other castles. Always remember that the SOS skill should be seen as a skill that is there to help you when you're in a risky situation or when you did a mistake, when you picked a target that is just way too strong for you. See it for that. Just because you're having losses, it doesn't mean that you have to use your SOS skill. The main priority for me personally when it comes to the SOS skill is always, will I lose a lot of angels? Does the battle look like that I will lose a lot of angels? And if it is so, then I press the SOS skill. If I'm just losing a lot of frontline, I'm, well, not always pressing the SOS skill. It also depends on how much time you have to play during the day, and you really need to find out for yourself how to handle the SOS skill. So here we have the same scenario again as I described it before. Go for the defense improvement of the frontline that you're playing and just follow up with the archer one. Then increase the wounded capacity, and then we just go with all of the angel skills. Here I presented it wrong because you should always start, in my opinion, with the Angel attack and then followed up with the Angel's HP and then with Angel's defense. This is actually how I would approach setting up a new Lord skill tree. I still have a lot of free points that I can spend, and I could divide them over different skills and a little more improvements. But what I think is very important for you guys to see is how I would approach it. Always start off with the recall skill for all of your troops, because it is very helpful to have it very early, and then finish off the development tree until you get your second stamina recovery, and we talked about the monster attack speed level 2, and then just finish up your war tree. As I already said in the beginning of the video, my playstyle would definitely be to bubble up for a very long time and always hide my troops, to play a very development focused game for the first few months or probably also a year, I'd say. I cannot really estimate how long it would take me to get a new castle to level 30. But I'd say, yeah, around about a year I would play a very passive game just to be able to rush my castle level as fast as possible. And from then on, if you're still in a Civil War kingdom, you can start to become way more active just because of the fact you have set up a good base for your overall castle development, so you can keep up and always be one of the top castles. And from then on, you can start to actually play the game and participate way more in events. Alright guys, so this is my approach, how I would set up a new Lord skill tree. Let me know down in the comments below how you would do it. We could also discuss about the recall skill, like not unlocking it right away. You can also start off with development tree first and then unlock the recall all skill and work your way down the war tree. This is something that we could discuss in the comment section. And with that, I would say thank you guys for watching and see you in the next video. Goodbye guys.